biggest story of the year, in my opinion, biggest story of the year, the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, right? It's been, it was set up as two pipelines. The original one, Nord Stream 1, provided basically Western Europe with gas coming from Russia. Then it was such a success, they did a Nord Stream pipeline 2. Now, before it got started, it was on trial basis and it was being tested, but it was going to work. Somebody blew it up. Now, Seymour Hersh, one of the few journalists, I think, that's telling the truth now, has published an account of what happened. And lo and behold, puts the blame right into the White House. The United States, call it the intelligence agency, the military complex, call it whatever you may be. He says that it was the United States, along with operations with other countries, to try to take down Nord Stream 2 for the purposes of getting Germany, in order for Germany to send weapons and money into Ukraine, because as long as they had Nord Stream pipeline 1 and 2 functioning, they wouldn't need gas from anywhere else. It was going to supply all of Western Europe with gas, and Germany especially was going to benefit the most. But now that that's not there, he says now Germany has to go in the wishes of NATO to supply Ukraine with weapons and money, of course. So Seymour Hersh, you can read this on Substack, and I actually recommend you guys to reading it. So many details. It's so much detailed information. I don't know if you can make all of it up, but I'm going to turn it over to David Lister. David, how troubling is this? Do you believe Seymour Hersh? Are we skeptical on it? Can the U.S. government be capable of something like this? Can hardly imagine it. David Lister.
Well, ever since I was a young man, I always said question authority. And so I've never trusted my government fully, and they're from assassination of democratically elected leaders to all sorts of misinformation campaigns, medical campaigns against Blacks, American Indians, things. Yes, absolutely. Without a doubt. This is just right in CIA, national security's head wheelhouse.
Wow. According to Hersh, this was basically at the behest of the White House, the Biden administration, that it came about that they had a couple of possibilities. They were going to do it in a couple of different ways. Then they chose the more covert way. And working along with Norway, they decided to detonate some explosives. And we remember in June 2022, we talked about it here on Catching Up, and didn't quite know who he was responsible for this. But the CIA warned Joe Biden and Victoria Nuland, who were at the time dealing with this, and Congress basically they believe there's some issues here. So even the Republican Congress, they believe there's some issues here. Of course, the media denies it all. They're more focused on the balloon than anything else. But I want to ask Jay. Jay, do you remember those videos? Victoria Nuland and Joe Biden saying Nord Stream Pipeline 2 is not going to happen. It's not going to exist if Russia invades Ukraine. Well, it happened. And so a year later, June 2022, just about, Nord Stream 2 doesn't work. It's been blown up. So did they telegraph this? Was this running, some kind of interference to the original plan? I know sometimes these things don't work out perfectly, but Seymour Hersh basically describes it all such detail that I can hardly imagine this was made up.
To quote probably the mainstream media, this is all just a coincidence. And, it's just, a bunch of conspiracy theory to think that the U.S. government would be responsible for destroying a Nord Stream. I would like to say, we've talked about how India and China are the worst polluters in the world, but with one action from our government, we became the largest polluter in this entire year by destroying the Nord Stream pipeline and potentially spilling millions and millions of tons of natural gas, not only into the sea, but also as it bubbled up into the atmosphere. So hooray, America, we're #1 for pollution now.
Man, I didn't see the little girl, what's her name, Greta, saying anything about this. Maybe I missed it, but she didn't say anything.
How dare you